It's been over 1 year since the S23 Ultra has come out, and obviously we've seen the S24 drop as well. And so this video is all about the S23 Ultra over 1 year later. And low-key, this video is really just going to be buttering up the S23 because it is still one of the best value phones that you can buy in 2024. Let's talk about it. And as usual, before we get into the battery and battery degradation, before we get into Galaxy AI and all of those cool new features, let's begin with the build quality. This is generally how I like to do these long-term reviews. We start off with the build, and let's go around the bezels. First of all, the bezels are on this one aluminum, so I know the new one has titanium. All right, commutates. This is all aluminum, and obviously this is not going to be the best quality. It is super shiny on my device, which I also don't like. I just love the matte finish, but if you're putting a case on, doesn't matter. Let's talk about the aluminum though. It's still in very good condition, so there's no damage to the aluminum itself. However, because I originally, when I first bought the phone, had a few cases on this, case-defy cases that are super tight, it did end up the case scratching the aluminum, and so you're going to notice many small scratches all around the aluminum bezel, even around the button areas. So if you can kind of see that, even around the button areas there's scratching, and that's just kind of one of the issues when it comes to having aluminum as opposed to titanium. It's a small thing. It doesn't have anything to do with the functionality of the device. It still functions well. It's just more cosmetic and aesthetic. Moving away from the bezels, let's talk about the display. The display, gorgeous. All right, absolutely fantastic. Samsung AMOLED, huge display, but it's curved. Okay, this is one of those things where I personally don't like curved devices, and that's why the S24 going flat display, I'm in favor. But one of the reasons that I don't like curved displays is because of scratches, specifically micro scratching. Now, in no way is the S24 Ultra immune to this. Okay, that is getting micro scratched as we speak. Like, for some reason, these Ultras and the Notes before this were micro scratched super easily. And I'm gonna drop a few videos here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Micro scratching is hard to see unless the phone is off. If the display's on, you can't even notice them. But when the display is off, you notice them immediately because they're just tiny scratches dispersed all over the display. But specifically on an S23 Ultra with the curved display, you're gonna notice scratching all up both ends of the curved glass, and it's pretty dense scratching that's happening there. And again, this is not me throwing my phone. In fact, I don't think I've dropped this phone once over the course of its lifetime. This is just literally putting in your pocket, taking it out, maybe putting it into a cup holder if you're driving or something like that. So it's not heavy usage for a device that is this durable, but at the same time, these devices just historically have been prone to these micro scratching, and the S23 and the S24 Ultra are not any different. Aside from the glass is Gorilla, so it is very strong. You don't need to worry about actually shattering the glass unless you drop it, which it's a heavy phone. It's probably going to shatter. I haven't luckily had that issue happen just yet, but more importantly, the glass back is still in perfect condition, and so are the cameras. You're noticing my phone is naked. I actually haven't put a case on this thing since the start of this year, but also since like Christmas of last year. So I haven't put a case on this for a very long time, and it's perfectly fine. I'm even putting it, down, and we're doing the whole, rub-a-dub-dub. The cameras are unscratched, unscathed, in perfect condition. So, and even with the new S24 Ultra, the actual hardware of these outer portions that's actually in contact with any other surface remains the same. So there's no difference there, and that's gonna be a theme throughout this video. This phone has been immersed in some water. Like last video, I kind of just dunked it in water. It made no difference. I mean, you can go swimming with this. Go ahead, in a normal sized pool. If you don't go deep diving. Don't go looking for some whales, try to take a picture of the, don't do that now. Come on now. And last year I talked about the S Pen when we did like half a year later review. The S Pen smelled like copper. It no longer smells like copper. And the reason why it doesn't smell like copper is because it's out and about a lot more. And yeah, it works, okay? So it's out and about a lot more than it was last year. And one of the reasons that I'm using the S Pen so much more is because of generative AI. Ladies and gentlemen, the S23 Ultra now has generative AI. This is the feature that was exclusive to the S24, and it was S24 only, not anymore. And with generative AI, you're getting a ton of cool new features. So let's talk about AI just a little bit. Before moving forward, this video is sponsored by the MFinder app. MFinder is an app that allows you to find your Android devices wherever they might be. And the cool thing about that is that Samsung or other Android devices don't actually have a tracking app that's native, so they came up with one that works really well on the Google Play Store. Now I've got the app linked in the description below in case you're interested in downloading it and testing out their 14-day free trial, but I actually tried it myself and it's been pretty awesome. And once I downloaded the app, it literally takes less than 1 minute to set up the entire thing. As soon as you're done, you're taken to this screen, which gives you a bunch of different options. But that's not the cool part. The cool part is how easy it is and how specific this app can get when it comes to finding your device. I have never seen this before. When you lose your phone and you don't know where it is, all you need to do is go on any PC, tablet, or laptop and go to the website linked in the description below. It's the MFinder homepage. All right, and the reason I even brought up AI, I don't want to dive into features too much. It's because I want to tell you that there is no reason for 98% of humans in existence currently, so not in existence, but there's no reason for you to go and buy an S24 Ultra, honestly. And the reason I say that is because the S24 Ultra and the S23 Ultra are essentially the same phones. Sure, the S24 Ultra is titanium and that is lighter, but carrying an extra 1 gram of weight never killed anyone. You know what did? Being short $300 when you go to pay back that Yakuza boss you borrowed money from. That's right, because this is saving your pockets, all right? Right now, if you go check out some of the common retailers, Amazon, eBay, refurbished, you can get this for almost the price of a Google Pixel, all right? A freaking Pixel, ladies and gentlemen. And there is some insane value on Amazon and eBay. You can really find these for a lot less than retail and way less than a new S24 Ultra. Obviously, when it comes to buying on these retailers, you got to make sure you're doing due diligence. So make sure there's a refund policy. And from the ones that I've checked out, there is. Okay, so there's generally a 30-day refund policy. You can get 100% of your money back, whether it's Amazon or eBay refurbished. Look at the seller's ratings, you know, look at the reputation. But in general, it is a really good way to grab a really good device that is super high value for a price that just is way below what it's actually worth, especially with all the new features they keep pushing out to the S23 Ultra. And now before we go into other features like the camera and how that's changed and battery changes and heating changes, make sure to smash the subscribe button. It really helps grow a small channel like the Chilled Fossil. But if you dislike it, go ahead and hit the dislike button and let me know in the comment section below how I can improve. It really helps me out. Also, if you're interested, we got wallpapers. So if you like this watercolor wallpaper right there, we got in the link down in the description below. Helps support the channel. Also, the Instagram and TikTok are in the description below. Those I've kind of decided now that I'm going to be posting and pushing more content that is not geared for the main channel, not long form content, but more like quick reviews of cool gadgets and things like that. So if you're interested, definitely check them out. I guess you follow there and subscribe here. And for the rest of the video, I'm just going to be convincing you why this phone is absolutely fantastic. And to get started, the camera is fantastic. The images are great. They're super clear. The 100x zoom is also phenomenal. We already talked about this in the previous videos, and there hasn't been any major updates as of yet, but that's exactly the reason why. It's because the camera is fantastic. There's nothing that needs to be changed. There's nothing imperative. The S24 Ultra, that is going through some changes because there were a few bugs and glitches that we caught on this channel. And you know, those are going to continue to happen, especially in the first few months of release. But this phone, it's been out for over a year. It's been tried and tested. And so at this point, the camera quality and the features like the video zoom and all of that is pretty much solid. And with all the new rollouts of generative AI and all of the little things you can do with picture edit, and I don't want to say magic eraser because I know that's Pixel, but you know, the same basic functionality is coming to the S23 Ultra. So you're getting a very solid camera with all the latest AI technology. Okay, so let's talk about battery. 1 year later, 1,000 charge cycles later, the battery has degraded. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to. Every battery degrades. There's nothing wrong with degrading in and of itself. What's more important is where it starts to plateau, because the way the graph works is at the very start, the battery degrades the fastest. That's general. It happens with anything that runs on batteries, but then it starts to plateau and really stick to that plateau level. And the way that I see it right now, my phone is that plateau is around 78 to 80%. And for reference, for me, a whole day of usage of high power productivity type usage, I can get away with starting the day at 60%. So I still have more than enough battery to get me through the entire day doing things that I want to do. And on the other end, the charging up is still super fast. So going from like 10% to 60%, you can easily do in 10 to 15 minutes. So that low end to middle end is still very fast. So even if you do kind of run out of that 60%, you want to, juice it up a little bit, you can always do that pretty quickly with any super fast charger you have around. And I think it only supports 45 watt. I use a 65 watt OnePlus charger, but it goes up to 45 and it's still plenty fast for the phone. Two more things I want to talk about when it comes to charge. First of all, battery hold. It holds battery really well. So even if you don't have it on charge, you're not using it, you just have it laying there, it's going to hold that battery pretty well, even overnight. I've noticed, other devices, like specifically the flips, they do lose battery even if they're on standby. If they're just idling, they continue to lose battery pretty quickly. The S23 Ultra doesn't do that even over a year later. And finally, low end battery drain. It's not that bad. Okay, so this is kind of a trademark of all Samsung devices. When your device gets to like 15%, it starts losing battery really fast compared to if it was at 80%. Now, when it comes to devices like iPhone, that doesn't generally happen. These are really consistent and you can kind of easily predict exactly how much time you have left to use your device if you're on the low end. But when it comes to Samsung devices, when you get lower, it starts going faster, or it starts going a little bit fast. Jump back a little, get away from the specs, and let's just talk about the experience. Look at the display. All right, AMOLED, Samsung, Korean, ingenuity, ladies and gentlemen. I know I have the Temu app, but the display, the speakers are an absolute blast. They're tons of fun. 1 year later, there's still nothing that really competes here. I mean, yes, you're the S24 Ultra, and that does have a flat display, so you don't get these lines anymore that you're seeing on the two ends, those reflection lines. You don't get that on the S24 Ultra. Plus, you can get an actual screen protector on the S24 Ultra. The screen protectors for this are garbage, okay? So I don't recommend screen protectors on this device. I didn't say that. This is not financial advice, by the way, but that's the point. So the display and the speakers combined still deliver a fantastic entertainment experience. And I know the S24 Ultra does get way brighter than the S23 Ultra, but this is way bright enough. I've never really had an issue where I'm outside and this just wasn't super bright or it was hard to see. Guys, it is very bright. Okay, so I've got the lights on in here, but this still gets pretty bright. And I've never really had an issue when it comes to brightness. Finally, let's talk about performance. Okay, we're over a year into this phone. It slowed down, right? It has to. I mean, if you're gaming and if you're pushing zoom, yes, okay, you're going to push the performance and it is going to slow down over time. But it'll slow down theoretically, but not practically. This does struggle a little bit, okay? The new processor in that phone is actually well superior. It has better endurance. It is much more battery efficient, so you can be pushing heavy games and not feel it heat up. This does heat up if you're gaming. It does heat up if you're running Zoom. So there is that difference. If you're not doing crazy productivity, don't even worry about that, okay? But for those of you more productive types, okay, and even if you are trying to be productive, you're editing a few videos, you've got a few emails running, you're running decks, you're also perfectly fine. So even if you want to plug this into an external monitor, don't worry about it. This is still going to hold up perfectly fine. But if you're someone who's trying to edit 4K video on like CapCut for Android, plus you're gaming, plus you got 78 Google Chrome tabs running, and you're doing all of that on data somewhere in the North Sea, I've got some fantastic behavioral therapy centers I can recommend you to help you out. So that's kind of it. Fantastic phone. Even over a year later, it's still, in my opinion, if you can get a good price, one of the best value phones that you can buy right now, without a doubt. You're getting this for the price of a Pixel. Yes, go for it. I would recommend you go for it any day of the week. There are, though, a few considerations. First of all, when it comes to support, you're not going to be getting as much support as a device that was released this year, obviously. So this, we're still probably going to get 3 more years, maybe 2, but probably more than likely at least 3 more years of support on the S23 Ultra, while on the S24 we're still getting 4 or maybe 5. I don't know if they changed that, but I think it is 4 years of more support. But what's interesting is what that 4-year period is going to look like, because from now until 4 years from now, there are going to be tons of advancements specifically in AI and how that's going to be rolled out to these devices. And from what we've seen already, this got the latest Galaxy AI, and so updates to Galaxy AI should be pushed out to the S23 Ultra for at least the next 3 years, and that is exciting. Before we move on to the sponsorship segment, I just want to say if you enjoyed this video, please smash that subscribe button. It really helps grow the small channel like the Chill with Fossil. Okay, so what happens if you actually end up losing your phone? All you need to do is use located device on the MFinder.ai website. So if I go ahead and log in here with sign in with Google, as soon as I activate it, it'll tell me exactly where my phone is on the MFinder.ai, and it'll also lock the phone, and the camera will be activated to start taking pictures of exactly where your phone is or even who took your phone. And while you can play a sound on your phone if it's somewhere nearby and you want to be able to track it down or alert people around the phone that that phone is stolen, you can do that right on MFinder.ai. And every 30 minutes, the MFinder app will update you on exactly where the phone is anywhere in the world. Another awesome feature in the MFinder.ai website is voice call. You can actually run a voice call of your phone to see exactly where it is or who picked up your phone. Your phone will alert the person who has your phone or the surroundings that a voice call is about to be initiated. You can't actually see me on the phone itself, so I can run a voice call with my phone on the computer and see exactly where my phone is, but that person can't see me. And just like that, now that I found my phone, my device has been unlocked. But ultimately, if you are not able to find your device, then on the MFinder.ai website, you can actually back up your files and save keep them or transfer them to any other device. And so all you can see here is my device and the images, videos, audios, and a bunch of other options that I have in storage on my device. I can go ahead and choose something like downloads, and it'll show me all of my different downloads, and I can start backing up each of these files onto my computer and then transfer them to a new phone if I need to go out and buy another one. In that way, I can at least cut my losses by saving as much data as possible, and it's super easy to do because all of these options are right here in this home menu. Like I said, if you sign up right now, it's linked in the description below. You get 14-day free trial to test out all of their features, and I highly recommend doing so. But more than that, this kind of app is super useful if you're going traveling. So that's where I was thinking about this app, where if I'm going to Toronto, you know, I'm going to be out in the streets a lot, or if I'm going somewhere that's a little bit more exotic, I don't know, Singapore or something like that. A phone like this is like $600 to $1,000 now. So having an app like this is just that extra insurance when you go outside, Singapore, you know, something like that. I'm not saying there's a lot of theft in Singapore, but what I am saying is it's a location that I'm not familiar with. So if I'm going traveling, even if it's in Toronto and I'm going to be out in public, I want to have this app in my phone in case I, you know, walk around and I completely forget where my phone is, or if, you know, something a little bit more deadly happens where my phone is stolen, I know exactly where it is at any specific moment. If you ever do lose your phone and you log in through any PC, laptop, or tablet, your phone is automatically locked. And what that ends up doing is that whoever stole your phone, or if whoever's around your phone, can't actually log into your phone. It'll automatically get locked, and you can only unlock it with a specific code. And more than that, you can actually personalize that lock screen, but you can also customize the lock and locked mode. So, you know, you just want to have full control over those kinds of settings. More on that, you can also back up data. So whatever data you have on your device, you can back it up. So in case it is hard to recover, or you just cannot recover your device anymore, it's been destroyed or something like that, you have your data to transfer onto another device. So at the very least, it'll save all of your precious information. Overall, the app is super easy to install. I mean, you can literally do it and set it up in less than 1 minute. And again, like I said, it's for all Android devices with the link in the description below. And that's literally it. Now you can go outside with the peace of mind knowing that if something were to happen to your device, if it was to get stolen or something worse, you can always track it down with a very efficient app on any sort of PC, mobile, or tablet, and always get your device back, or at the very least, save your data and back it all up onto another device. So once again, a big shout out to MFinder for sponsoring this video and also creating an app like MFinder. This app and this functionality has been a major drawback when it comes to Android devices because there's no such native Android functionality that allows you to track your devices until now. I mean, it's not native, but it's still on the Google Play Store and anyone can download it. Check out MFinder, linked in the description below. Let's get on with it.